we need to have an honest conversation about what's happening to hip-hop, because right now the culture feels like it's heading in the wrong direction. When you really step back and connect the dots, so much of today's chaos can be traced back to that explosive 2024 rap feud. It was undeniably one of the biggest moments in recent hip-hop history, but you won't believe how much it shifted the way people judge the music itself. Instead of celebrating sharp lyricism and incredible production, the spotlight quickly moved to whoever could dominate the conversation across social media. From that point on, fans and even major award shows seemed more focused on deciding who deserved the crown than appreciating the music on its own. The result is a culture that increasingly feels like a popularity contest, where real artistry often comes last in the discussion. And that's where things took another unexpected turn, because the aftermath of that 2024 battle attracted a massive wave of people who barely understood hip-hop in the first place. Suddenly, casual viewers who only noticed the online drama started jumping into debates as if they had followed the culture for years. Many of them picked a side without ever being genuine fans or taking the time to understand the history behind the artists involved.
Who got the better diss track?
Hands down, Kendrick.
Why?
Too many bars, and me being light-skinned, Drake soft.
Better diss track.
Kendrick Lamar.
Why?
Because he's better.
Kendrick or Drake?
Oh, it's Kendrick. The way he be calling him about how he a bad father, how he be cosplaying, he ain't got it like that.
Kendrick.
Why? Kendrick. Drake's light skin.
He's touching me.
Isn't that right, Jay?
It created a situation where simply enjoying a song no longer seemed enough. Suddenly, everyone expected you to pick a side and defend your favorite artist like you were part of a team. That flood of newcomers diluted the conversation so much that meaningful discussion was replaced with constant online noise. People started debating entire discographies they had never even heard, while judging rappers from a few viral moments instead of the complete bodies of work they had spent years building. We even watched major platforms that rarely take hip-hop seriously jump into the conversation just because the topic was trending. Then look at someone like Joe Budden. When that rap battle was dominating headlines, he jumped into the discussion, spoke confidently about the artists involved, and made it seem like he was deeply connected to everything happening. But once the excitement faded and those easy views weren't rolling in anymore, his entire approach suddenly changed. That's when he finally revealed how he really felt, and you won't believe it. He essentially admitted that he was never truly invested in the situation to begin with.
Hey! I don't even know that nigga. You rock Drake more than me. Drake ass nigga. Nigga, you rock with this more than anybody. Nigga, y'all got whatever little parasocial relationship
we
y'all
were looking
got.
by it. So what? So say that. So what?
Should they say that?
Fuck we talking about? Oh, you was I said it. I've been saying it. I'm phony. I'm not trying to be these friends.
You should have said that from the jump of this conversation.
Fuck him, and I want the Iceman. Fuck him, and I'm listening to Iceman. Nothing they can do about it.
That right there sums up the biggest issue perfectly. The 2024 rap feud opened the door for countless people to suddenly act like lifelong hip-hop fans, when in reality, they were only chasing engagement, clicks, and attention. It exposed how many influential voices weren't invested in the music at all. They were far more interested in the drama than the culture itself. And once that mindset spread, the impact started reaching places nobody expected, including the biggest award shows. Instead of rewarding the strongest music, these organizations began chasing whatever was dominating social media so they could stay relevant. They saw certain names generating massive traffic and leaned into that momentum, whether the music justified it or not. Kendrick Lamar is unquestionably one of the greatest to ever touch a microphone, and that isn't the point being argued here. The real conversation is about what happened after the battle. The way some award shows continued riding the post-beef wave started feeling less like honoring hip-hop and more like executing a marketing campaign. That shift is exactly what has so many fans questioning the system today. When you watch the Grammys repeatedly hand major awards to the same song or project, while equally deserving artists barely get acknowledged, it's fair to ask what's really driving those decisions. Throughout the year, plenty of rappers were consistently releasing quality music, pushing the culture forward and keeping the genre alive.
Yet many of those artists were overlooked because they didn't have the same viral storyline attached to their names. At that point, the focus stops being about creativity and starts becoming all about branding. If you want one of the clearest examples of how disconnected these award shows have become, you don't have to look any further than the 2026 BET Awards. That night raised serious questions about where the industry is heading. Kendrick Lamar won Best Male Hip Hop Artist, and while that sounds reasonable at first glance, the details tell a much different story. During the 2025-2026 eligibility period, Kendrick didn't release a major solo album or headline solo single. On the solo front, he was largely quiet. Meanwhile, artists like J. Cole, Drake, Baby Keem, and Don Toliver were actively dropping projects, touring, and shaping the sound of the year. They were putting in the work, yet every one of them left without that award. To make the situation even more surprising, Kendrick wasn't even there to accept the trophy. The artist crowned as the year's best didn't attend the ceremony, which only fueled more questions from fans. That's why many people believe these shows are relying on the momentum from the 2024 feud to generate headlines and boost ratings. They understood that putting Kendrick's name on the award would spark conversations, even if many felt the decision didn't match that year's musical output. This growing pattern explains why so many viewers are losing faith in these award shows. More fans are beginning to see through what they believe is a system driven by narratives instead of consistent artistic achievement. It's difficult for an award to feel meaningful when people think popularity from an old feud carries more weight than the music released during the actual eligibility period. The 2024 battle should have been remembered as an unforgettable clash between elite lyricists. Instead, many argue it became the moment the industry's priorities started changing. It created the impression that building a massive storyline can sometimes matter more than consistently releasing great music. If a moment becomes big enough, the industry may continue rewarding that momentum long after the music itself slows down. That's a dangerous message for the future of hip-hop because it can discourage artists who spend months perfecting their craft. Why should creators like Don Toliver or Baby Keem constantly push themselves to evolve if the spotlight keeps returning to narratives from years earlier? When recognition becomes disconnected from the work, the entire culture risks standing still instead of moving forward. Joe Budden's situation also highlights another growing concern, the rise of cultural tourists. When people treat hip-hop as nothing more than a source of online engagement instead of a culture they genuinely respect, the conversation loses its authenticity. Many platforms recognize the massive audience hip-hop attracts, and that's exactly why they suddenly pretend to care whenever the biggest stories start trending.
They invite guests to break down the latest drama, make huge declarations about who the greatest rapper is, and present themselves as if they've always been part of the culture. But the moment the spotlight moves somewhere else, they're gone without a second thought. They rarely stick around to support underground talent or the artists who are genuinely pushing hip-hop in new directions. That's exactly why the 2026 BET Awards felt like a major wake-up call for so many fans. It was the moment people felt the curtain had been pulled back, revealing how the system really operates. Seeing artists like J. Cole or Drake release music throughout the year while losing out to someone who had been largely inactive on the solo front left a lot of people scratching their heads. To many fans, it suggested that the Best Male Hip Hop Artist Award was no longer based strictly on who had the strongest year musically. Instead, it started looking like cultural momentum, and leftover buzz from a viral moment carried more weight than consistent output. And if that trend continues, you won't believe where it could lead. Hip-hop risks becoming a genre that keeps celebrating the same moments instead of rewarding the artists creating the next generation of classics. At the end of the day, the 2024 rap battle turned out to be both a blessing and a warning. It was incredible because fans witnessed elite lyricism and one of the most unforgettable moments in modern hip-hop history. But it also revealed something much bigger. It showed the corporate side of the industry exactly how to capitalize on the culture. They realized they could transform hip-hop into a popularity contest, and millions of people would eagerly follow along. They also discovered that as long as the headlines and drama kept rolling, the music itself could easily become secondary. That's the reality many fans believe we're living in today. Award shows increasingly feel like marketing campaigns, while some of the loudest voices dominating the conversation know the least about the culture's history. So the real question is, where does hip-hop go from here? How do we get back to rewarding the music before everything else? I want to hear your perspective because this isn't a simple debate. Do you think the 2024 feud permanently changed how success is measured in hip-hop? Or do you believe Kendrick Lamar earned that 2026 win based on his overall cultural impact, despite not releasing major solo music during the eligibility period? It's a difficult discussion, but it's one worth having if the culture is going to keep evolving. Is the system beyond repair, or can the focus shift back to the music again? Drop your thoughts in the comments, join the conversation, and let's really break this down because it honestly feels like hip-hop is standing at a major crossroads right now.